Hello friends, welcome to Nigira Techies. In this video, I am going to explain Angular 14 reactive forms with Material UI Modal Popup. And if you watch this complete video, you will be familiar on the below three topics. The first one is Angular 14 CRUD Operations with the reactive forms. And the second one is implementing Material UI Modal Popup with some form controls like input, select, checkbox and radio button. And the final one is implementing alertifyjs. This is for creating the traditional notification and alert. Now, before going to the implementation, I am going to provide my final demo. So this is my employee screen. Here I just loaded all the employees using my .NET Core services. Now let me create one new employee. So the design, it's completely created using this Material UI. And for the functionality, I am using these reactive forms. So those are the mandatory fields. We can see this star symbol. Now I am not entered any value. Let me click the save button. So I am getting the error message. Please enter the valid data. And also those are the mandatory fields. The fields are changed into the red color. So let me provide some values. John Brito. And the phone number is. That one is email. So let me select the destination Angular developer. And the gender is male. So it should be in the is active only. So let me click the save now. So I got the notification is saved successfully. So let me search my record. Yeah. So this is the created record, John Brito. So here I'm going to change the name, John Brito Y. So now if I'm saving, the value automatically gets updated. So even our listing and this pop-up both are in the separate component. So whenever I'm doing changes in my own component, it's automatically gets reflected. And the final one is delete. So when I'm clicking this delete button, I'm getting this confirmation pop-up. If I click to OK, so the record should be deleted. So even if I'm searching John, so it's not available. So this is all about my demo. Now let me go to the implementation. For doing this implementation, I listed out all the steps. The first thing is we have to create the Material UI model pop-up. So let me go to my application. Here I'm going to create one component for generating this pop-up. ng generate component. My component name is Model Popup. Okay, look like our component is get generated. Here the spec file is not required, so let me remove it. So currently we have the listing only, so let me add the add new button. So in the app component, the edit section, we already included the button, so let me copy the same thing. The text should be add new, and this event we have to include little later. Okay, great, our button gets added. And our second step is we have to include the model for using this dialog. So first we have to import it here. So it's just dialog, and our model name is mat dialog model. Okay, this is fine. So now let me go to the app component. So in this app component only we are opening this pop-up. So I have to create one function here. Open dialog. So here I am going to inject the mat dialog first. So private dialog mat dialog. Here this dot open dialog dot open off. So here the first input is called a component. That's what we have created this model pop-up component. So let me include here model pop-up component. So after that, if you have any parameters, so we can pass it. The first parameter, let me pass it here. Enter animation. The same way I have to pass the one more parameter. Exit animation. And also I'm going to provide the width. So let me give 50%. Okay, this is all about fine. So in the pop-up we have to include some changes. So let me go to the official site. So here I'm actually using this dialog component. So let me copy the HTML content here. So this is the basic text only. Actually, we need to modify everything. And the next step is we have to include this function in our button click. So let me write one click event. So it's having two inputs. One is starting duration. So let me give 1000 milliseconds. And the exit, I'm going to give 500 milliseconds. So we can verify now how it's going to work. Okay, see the pop-up is opening. Actually, the default text is coming. We have to modify based on our requirement. So now let me go into start my designing here. So instead of delete file, I'm going to give employee. For doing add and delete, I'm going to use the same pop-up only. So this content also it's not required. So let me include one form tag here. So after that, so in this mat dialog content, I am going to include mat form field. Also, I'm going to provide my first control. So this is for code. I am going to give the placeholder is code, and also I need to convert into mat input. So let me see the output. Okay, the text box is coming, but it's not in the full line. So let me change one style here. This mat form field. So let me copy the complete style. So in the popup component.css, I am going to give block, and also it's important. Okay, now it's coming in the complete line. And also we have the button is no and another one is okay. So this one also we have to change. So instead of no, we have to use close, and another one is save. And the class also not fair, so let me change it. For the save button, this mat dialog close is not required. And another one is, yes, this one is the close is required because the cancel button. So instead of the color primary, I have to give one. Okay, see, now the close option is there and also the save. So if I'm closing, it's closed. And we have added one field the similar way. I am going to add all the fields. So it's not going to take much time. The second one is for name. And the third one is for email. The fourth one is for phone. And the fifth field is for destination. But actually for this destination, I am not going to use this input. So instead of that, I am going to use select. So in the material UI, we have the control is mat select. Okay, great. And also we can include the mat label. So it's code, and the second one is name, email, then this phone, and this select is for loading this destination. For this destination, I'm not going to provide the hardcode value. So instead of that, I'm having one service. So I will load the data dynamically. And here I'm getting some error. Why? Because the match select. So if I'm using this match select, I have to include the model. So let me go to the Material UI side. So first let me import it. Angular material slash select. And my model name is match select model. The same way I am going to include two more model. One is for radio button and another one is for the checkbox. Otherwise the same error once again it will come. One is radio and another one is select. Sorry, select. Actually it's a checkbox only. Fine. So mat radio model. The similar way mat checkbox model. So now let me see the design how it should be. Yeah, it's a great. So all the input fields are coming. The final one is destination. So actually I'm not loaded the option. So next I'm going to include the control name is a radio button. Here I am selecting this first option. I mean the first example because the model we already included. So we can use this one directly. So the option select and gender. The first one is male and the second option is female. The value, the first one is M, the same way second one is F. Okay, we have done. And the next I'm going to include the checkbox. Again the procedure is same. So let me select this example and the first box let me take it. So after this radio group I just included and I'm going to remove one checkbox because one is more than enough for us. So the field name is active. Okay, we have done. I hope we have completed our design part. Yes. See, so the radio button is working, even the is active also. So we have completed our design part. The next important thing is we have to initialize our reactive form. So let me go to the TS file. So using form group and the form control, I am going to initialize my reactive form. New form group. And also one more important thing. So we have to include the reactive form model in our app.model. Reactive form model. So it's available in this Angular forms. So it's included. Now I'm going to define all the controls. The first control is code. New form control of. So for this one I'm going to provide the default value. Default value should be 0 and also this field should be disabled. So let me disable it. Okay, fine. The next field is name. For this name I am going to include one validation. So the default value is empty. For adding the validation, we have the class is called validator. So let me include it. Yes. So dot required. Okay, great. The similar way I have to include all the form fields. The third one is for email. And the fourth one is for phone. And the fifth one is destination. For this destination, I'm not going to provide this validation required. Okay. And the second one is for gender. So the gender, I'm going to provide the default value is male. And this field also, it's not required one. And the final one is active. For this one also, I'm going to provide the default value is true. It's a true or false scenario. So one step we have completed. We have initialized our reactive form. So our next step is we have to map this form into our design. So let me copy the form name. So in the design part, I already included this form. Here I am going to use form group, and we need to provide our form name. After that, we have to bind our event. So ng submit save employee. And also I'm going to change this button type into submit. So now let me define the save function here. First, I'm going to check the reactive form contains the values are valid or not. If it is valid, I'm going to allow for save. Else I need to throw the exception message. Okay. And if it is valid, so let me check what value actually is coming here. So console.log this dot reactive form dot value. So now I am coming to the screen. If I checked here, there is no validations are included. Why? Because I just defined the form name only. Other than that, these controls I am not binded properly. For doing this control mapping, we have the parameter is called form control name. So the first one is code. Similar way, the second one is for name. So once it's mapped, the validations also gets included. So let me show you here. I just added for two fields. One is for code and another one is for name. See now the name, I'm having this star symbol. So even if I'm not entering any value, it should be changed into red color. So let me do the mapping for all the controls. So this one is for email and the third one is for phone, and this select control is for destination. Then this radio button is for gender, and the final one is checkbox is used for is active. So see the design. So what are the fields I have declared as the mandatory field? So I am able to see this star symbol. So if I am clicking the save symbol also, I am getting this red mark. So now I am trying to give some values. Andro ed@chin.com, and here I am providing just some phone number. So let me go to the console also. So if I am clicking the save button, say I am getting the value. The name is Andro, email, phone number, and destination. Actually destination we don't have any value, and also gender I am getting. The final one is active. So the is active field also true, but I'm not getting this code value. So because it's a disabled field, if I want to get this disabled field value also, so I have to use get raw value instead of that just value. Now I'm going to provide the values once again. Andro and some phone number. So if I'm clicking the save, see I'm getting this code value also. Okay, fine. So our next step is we have to load this destination from our services. So let me go to the service. So in the service currently I'm having only one method for getting all the employees. So we have to implement three more functions. One is for save and also another one is for get by code and also delete. First I am creating this for the get by code. So the get by code usually have one input is code. So let me change the URL also. And our third function is remove. So instead of get, I am going to use delete. And the fourth one is save. Save input data. So instead of get, I am going to post. So after the URL, I need to pass the data. That's it. So this is all about this for employee. And also we have to create one more method is for destination. So here also the return type is not required. So if you have the created model, then you have to use it. Otherwise, it's not mandatory. And the URL, let me go to my services. So this is the service is returning this destination information. So let me replace it here. Okay, we have done in our service side. So let me go to the model pop-up component. Here I'm going to inject the services. So the service name is master service. So the first thing is I have to load the destination. So load destination, and I need to declare one variable also, tiny. So this dot service dot get destination. So let me subscribe it. So this dot dest data equal to result, and let me call this one in the initial loading time. Okay, currently I'm having data in this variable. So let me go to the HTML side. So in the HTML side, I'm having this select match select. So after that, I'm going to add this mat option. So in this option, I'm going to use ng for directive. Let item of the variable name. So the first thing is I have to bind the value. So the value should be code, item.code, and the second one is text. Text, I am going to use the name. We have done almostly, so let me verify. So see, the Angular developer manager and the technical team leader. So this is loaded fine. Now I'm going to concentrate on this save function. For the save, we already created the one of the function. So here I am going to call the services. So this dot service dot save, and we have the data. This dot reactive form get raw data. I mean get raw value. Okay, fine. So once it's done, so let me subscribe it. And so let me declare one more variable for getting this result information, response data. So this dot response data equal to result. So let me put this value in the console. So based on that, we have to implement our logic. That's it. Again, I'm going to give Andrew, and the email should be ad@tin.com, and the phone number, I'm just giving some phone number. Destination is Angular developer. The mail is active, it's fine. So let me save it. Yeah, if I am going to the console, I'm getting this result as fast. So here I have to include the condition. If response data dot result double equal to pass, then this is the pass scenario. Here I need to display my alert message. For implementing the alert, as I mentioned, I'm going to use this alertifyjs. So let me install it first. So the first thing is we have to install this alertifyjs package. So we have the npm command. I will include in the description. You have to use it. Okay, great. It's installed. Once it's installed, it will include some CS files. So let me go to the style page. Here I'm going to import it. There are two things. I have to include one more thing. So let me copy the bootstrap. So instead of this bootstrap, I'm going to use default. I'm not going to spend much time on this alertify.js because already I explained in my one of the video. So then I have to create one type file. So in the type file, I'm going to declare one model. Finally, I'm going to this tsconfig file. So in the ts file, I'm going to include typed routes. Here I'm just added this node model at types, and also I mentioned my file path name. That's it. So let me import this alertify.js in my component. First I'm going to use in my model popup component. Okay, it's added. So let me copy this one. In the save method, once it's saved, I have to give like alertify.success. Saved successfully. The similar way, if there is a invalid data, I have to show an error message. Error. Please enter valid data. So if you are installing any package, you have to rerun your application. Otherwise, the changes may not affect properly. Okay, it's done. So now let me check once again. So if I'm clicking the save button without providing any value, I am getting this please enter valid data. The alert message I'm getting. The similar way, I am going to provide some value. Nihira, add the email, it's fine. And I am providing this values Angular, this female and active. So if I'm clicking the save, I'm getting this saved successfully. Here the thing is the pop-up is not closed, and also it's the data is not affected in the list. So if I'm searching the Nihira, the record is not found. So after refreshing, I will get the record. So now we have to close the pop-up. The same time we have to refresh this listing. Here the problem is the listing and our model pop-up both are in the different component. So we have to use the observable concept. Using that we have to refresh it. So as I mentioned, the component are different. Actually, we are using the services same. So in the service part, I'm going to provide one variable, refresh required, new subject of. So this subject concept is belongs to RxJS, and I'm not going to return any data. Okay, just defined. The same time, I'm going to define one getter function, required refresh. So it's going to return. Okay, this is fine. Now what I'm going to do, I have to change the value of this one. So after completing the save functionality, I have to trigger this one. For that, I'm using this pipe concept. Inside the pipe, I'm going to use this tab. This pipe tab, everything is belongs to RxJS only. Oh, it's showing error. Yes, so we have to include it. Okay, the error got resolved. So now I'm just changing the value. Our plan is I'm going to subscribe this getter in my listing component. So if there is any change, so it will trigger automatically. That means if I'm saving any record, I'm just triggering this is refresh triggered. So once it's triggered, in the triggering side, I have to call this getAll method. So let me subscribe the getter here. Service dot required refresh. Okay, fine. Okay, this is fine. Here I'm going to call this getAll method. So we have to verify, and before that we have to close the pop-up also. For closing this pop-up, so public dialog ref and mat dialog ref. So here we need to pass our component name. That's it. Okay, it's initiated. So after the save gets completed, I'm just calling this one that close off. Okay, we have done it. Now I am going to create one more new record. Sunil s@in.com, add some phone number and the destination. Okay, mail is active, it's fine. So if I'm saving, I'm getting the same message. The pop-up also automatically gets closed. So the last added data is Sunil. So actually in the code it's starting descending order. That's what it's not coming the first. It's actually coming the last page. Actually I'm not refreshed. I'm getting this data. So even if I'm searching also I will get the same information. Okay, one point is we have finished. So finally this edit and delete is remaining. So delete is little easy. First I have to complete this one. So after that I will go for this edit function. First let me go to the listing side. The listing we already have the buttons. So this is for edit. The same way I hope to include this even for delete also. Delete, it's added. So after this is done, so the input is code, data type is any. Here I'm just calling the services, this dot service dot and remove. The input is code. So once it's passed, let me subscribe it. So basically I have to check the response for the time consumption. I'm not checking anything. So after subscribed, I'm just calling this getAll method here because I need to refresh the table once again, and also I need to show the message. So let me copy this Alertify success once again, but now we are including in our app component. Okay, great. So instead of this saved successfully, removed successfully, that's fine. So let me delete it. So if I'm clicking this 1038, so it just removed the record. Actually, it's not the fair way. If you are doing this remove operation, you have to confirm with an user, do you want remove this record? So let me implement this confirmation box. So in the alertifyjs, we have the options for creating this confirmation box also. Alertify.confirm. Here the first parameter is header, remove employee, and the second one is our message. Do you want to remove? Okay, great. So after that, we have to use one callback function. So basically, in the callback function is just like a scenario, and the final one is close. For this close, I am going to use. Okay, fine. So we have to write our coding in this confirmation side only. So let me try once again. So if I'm deleting, I'm getting this pop-up. Do you want to remove? And also I'm having this OK and cancel option and this remove employee. So if I'm clicking this cancel, so nothing will happen. At the same time, if I'm clicking OK, so it's just removed the successfully. Now see, I'm just taking this 1036. So the 1036, it's gone. So this is all about this delete function. The final one is edit. Okay. For this edit, first we have to load the existing data. For doing this one, we supposed to do in our component side only. So here I am going to declare one variable edit data, and one more function is load edit data. So it's having one input is code, and let me consume the services here. So get employee by code. Here I'm just passing this code. So after that I'm going to subscribe it. Now this dot edit data equal to item. So once I have the data, I have to bind in the controls. So actually we are using this reactive form. So let me copy this form first. So this dot reactive form, we have the option is set value. So our first field is name. So here this dot edit data dot name. The similar way we have to include all the fields. Actually our first field is code only. I just forget it. So after that email, then this phone, and the fifth one is destination. Here also it's destination, and the next one is gender. The final one is active. It's showing some error. We have to see a little later. I hope everything gets resolved. So even the order also creating issue. Basically it won't create because we are setting the exact parameters only. So anyway, I have to follow the order. That's it. Okay, our function is created, and our second step is, so this edit functionality is starting from our app component, because in the app component only we have this listing. So as I mentioned, I'm going to use the same model pop-up only. So let me go to this app component. So in this app component, this edit section, I basically will get this code value. So this edit method, I'm going to open the pop-up, this dot open dialog. So the first input is enter animation duration 1000 millisecond, and the second one is for exit duration millisecond. Here I am going to pass one more parameter, the code. Okay, actually I am not handled in my functions, so let me pass it here. Now I am going to modify function code any. Okay, now again I am getting the issue because in the add method I am not passed anything. So in the add method I am going to give the empty value. So when we are adding, basically we don't have any value. The edit time only we are getting this value. That's all about the concept. Once we have this code, we have to pass it here. We have the parameter is called data. So in the data, m code equal to code. So now we are just passed the code value from our app component. So the thing is, we have to access this employee code from our model component. For accessing this one, we have one option in this mat dialog, the mat dialog data. Okay, it's included, and also I need to inject in the constructor. So let me inject this mat dialog data here. For that, at inject, so mat dialog data. Okay, fine. So basically I will get this value in this data. So in the page load time, first I am verifying if this dot data dot m code, because we passing as the m code only, not equal to null and not equal to empty. So in this scenario only, I have to load this edit method. So this dot load edit data equal to this dot data dot m code. So let me edit this one. So the datas are not loaded. Must supply value for the gender. Okay, what I missed? Yeah, in the service actually I don't have the fields for gender and is active. I just added the field. For these two, I'm going to provide the hardcode value, the male, and is active also I'm going to provide as the true. So see now the records are got loaded. So instead of this MS Dhoni, I'm going to queue Mahendra Singh Dhoni. So if I've saved, the pop-up automatically gets closed. I'm getting this notification message. See the text, it's also updated automatically. I'm just editing this Narayan. I'm going to provide Sunil Narayan, and I'm changing the email also. So if I'm saved, it's updated, and this email also updated. Okay, our functionalities are completed. So before closing the session, I want to convey only information. So in the title itself, I just mentioned a reactive typed forms. So the typed form feature is introduced in Angular 14 only. So the previous version 13 itself, we don't have this feature. So this is nothing but identifying our issues from our development side itself. So basically, we can get the form value using this forms dot value. Okay. So it contains several fields. So if I want get the name value, I have to type like a name. Okay. So in the previous versions, we don't have these suggestions. Now I have the complete suggestion. Okay, if I am put a name. So in case if I am providing n as a caps, so it will throw an error. And also in the quick fix, I am having the option change the spelling into name. So in case if I'm using this Angular 13, I don't have the option. While running time only, I will get the error. Okay, this is the one of the interesting feature. So hope you got some better idea about this Angular reactive forms with the CRUD operations and how to use this Material UI components like Modal Popup and checkbox and other controls. Still, if you have any doubts or clarification, please post in the comment box, and also please don't forget to subscribe my channel. Thank you. Thanks for watching.